Welcome back to another episode of the LionHeart podcast where we learn to have a heart of a lion in this jungle we call life. We back at it again, new episode, we here. So look, anybody who's listened to this podcast before already knows this podcast is all about leveling up, becoming the best versions of ourselves. If you've been tuning into this podcast and you've been listening to all the episodes, really, I appreciate you so much, right? This podcast is still small, still growing little by little. But if you've been continuing listening, then I really appreciate it. And if you're new to this podcast, then I appreciate you for tuning in. You're not going to regret it. We go over all the ways in this podcast to become the best versions of ourselves. As I said, to learn how to have the heart of a lion in this jungle we call life. Life is rough. Life is difficult. Life is hard. It's not meant to be easy. But when you put everything together and you learn to have a heart of a lion, meaning fearlessness is not really a thing, right? Everybody fears something. We always have that anxiousness. But when you learn how to control the anxiety, to control the fear that you have, and transform it into something that is actually useful to push you on towards those hard things, then that's when you become successful in what you do. So in this podcast, it's all about learning to have that heart of a lion in this jungle, meaning in the life that we live, whatever struggles you may be going through, whatever goals you may have that you're going towards. So let us get going. All right, so today I put a few little notes. This podcast, I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Level Up. Simple as that. Or I might come up with a different name for it. We'll see. We'll see if I get more creative than that. But right now, that's what I'm thinking it is. So I wrote down a few little notes so that I'm not just kind of going all over the place in this one, because I have a tendency to do that sometimes not. It all depends. But today we're going to talk about how to level up yourself, meaning checking all the routines and the habits that you may have in your life, right? So everything is built up into smaller parts. For example, when you think about an essay, right? An essay is an essay is smaller parts all built into one. For example, if you break down an essay to the smallest form, then the smallest form of that essay is letters, right? All those letters come together to create individual words. Then all those words come together to form a sentence. Then all those sentences form together to create a paragraph. And those paragraphs come together to create an essay, right? So everything in life is broken down into smaller parts. That's the way it is with everything. Even if you have a big task, a big goal that you're going towards, you always want to break it down into smaller segments. Because if you try to always think about your goal as a big old thing, for example, we'll pick something random. I want to own a big old house. Then if you never break it down into smaller things and that's just your goal and that's all you think about, I need a bigger house. What do I do to get that? Okay, I had this goal, but I never broke it down. You have to break it down into smaller parts. Okay, you want a big old house, you want $1 million house. Then how is it that you're going to reach the point to where you're able to get that $1 million house? You have to break it down. Okay, I'm going to be getting different incomes, right? I'm going to start investing into real estate, stocks. I'm going to start creating extra income in this business. I'm going to start doing this. You have to come up with a plan and break it down into smaller steps so that you're able to get that $1 million house, which is the big goal in the first place. That's the way that you have to think about your entire life. Your entire life, right? Everybody, as I've said before in many previous podcasts, you should have a goal. You should have something that you're striving towards in the end. But you also have to make sure that you break it down into smaller parts, right? Because you can't just have your big old goal and then not have a plan to go towards it. You have to break it down into smaller parts. And what is the smallest part that you can manipulate to being able to create that goal? To achieve that goal? It is your routines, your habits that you have every single day. The habits that you build up and the routine that you follow every day are the small little steps you're going to take every single day to go towards that goal. So if you do not have good habits, or you don't have a good routine, or you don't have a specific thing that you're following, a plan every single day, then you're not going to make it very far to getting to that goal, right? Whatever your goal may be, whatever it may be. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has a different route that they want to take in life. But if you do not have the proper routine, the proper habits behind it, then let's be honest, you're never going to reach that goal that you're going towards. You have to develop the small parts of your life first. Now, creating a habit is difficult. It's not easy to create a habit because sometimes, as many people will know, sometimes when there's something difficult that you can do, that you need to do, you'll force yourself once or twice to do it. But after that, it gets very difficult. For example, if you're telling yourself, I'm going to wake up early every single day, and you start off, you've been waking up at like 10 a.m., and all of a sudden out of nowhere, you decide you're going to wake up at 5, that is going to be very hard to keep on going. So that's why you got to break it down into steps. Maybe start waking up a little bit earlier every single day and work your way up to getting to that point. My point is, you have to break everything down, and you need to create good habits within your life. Whatever your goals may be, you need to create habits with that. So if you're having bad habits, for example, you want to get nice, fit, and healthy, but you see that your habits are always eating junk food, that you end up missing the gym a lot of the time because you get lazy and tell yourself you're going to do it tomorrow, then you start developing these different habits and you just start putting it off to the side. Even though you had that goal, since you didn't create the correct habits, the correct routines in your life, you are not going to reach that goal. No way. And that's what most people do. Specifically, even with that goal, with other goals too. They set a goal like that, and then they do it for 1 or 2 days, and then all of a sudden, they say, I can't do it no more. And then all of a sudden, they're like, it's a lost cause. I'm not going to do it anymore. Can't do it. You can do it. You're just deciding not to. Like I've said before, life isn't meant to be easy, right? You have to build these habits and these routines. Life is not going to be easy with these habits and routines. If you wanted to get fit, you're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have to do cardio. You're going to have to eat healthy and sacrifice all the junk eating that you may want to do. That comes with sacrifice. But at the end of the day, that sacrifice will bring you closer to your goal, which is going to make you happy because you achieved that goal that you set for yourself. If you're constantly setting goals and you're constantly setting routines and habits that do not acquire up to that goal and you keep failing every single time, it's going to bring you down because you're going to think to yourself, everything that I try to do, I never achieve. So what's the point? What's the point of even setting these goals when I'm never able to do it? You don't ever want to get yourself into that mindset, that mentality. So when you have a goal, establish the correct routines around it, the correct habits around it for whatever your goal may be. If your goal is to make extra income, then you need to set the correct habits, the correct routines to make that happen. Because if you do not start on a small scale, then that big scale goal is never going to happen. So you gotta start small. Remember that. Always remember that. Start small. Have a big goal. Have that big goal in mind. Create that first. Create the vision for yourself and see what is it that you want in the future. But then start establishing the small things in your life that are going to work you towards that thing. Because at the end of the day, you can have as many goals as you want. But if you do not set the plan, the routine, the habits behind it, you will never achieve those goals. Simple as that. You will never achieve those goals if you do not have a plan, a routine, the habits behind it. So make sure that you set the foundation first so that you're able to reach towards that goal. Which brings me to my next point. Always check your inner thoughts. Your thoughts can either make you succeed in everything in life, or it can absolutely destroy you to where you fail in everything within your life. Your thoughts are so powerful, very powerful. And the thing is, it's not easy to control your thoughts. I know because I battled with this every single day. For example, with myself, one thing that I had to battle with on a daily basis, which I try my hardest to control, and I'm not going to lie, it's very difficult, is my anxiety. I have I don't know what the correct thing is, but I believe it's social anxiety. That's what they kind of said I had in the doctor. I have social anxiety with it. And what that does is it creates a constant tension sometimes when I'm in stressful situations or situations where I'm kind of nervous in. It just skyrockets my anxiety and it it gets bad. It gets really bad, and it makes me just want to leave the situation and not be around it, because I don't know how to explain it. It's not a panic attack, but maybe like a little bit lower than that, on a daily basis. So with that being said, a lot of that comes from the inner thoughts, which is what I'm working on changing. That inner fear of certain situations or certain things, not believing in myself. There's a lot of reasons why that anxiety pops up. And those are things that myself, I have to fix and figure out how to change them and how to overcome them. It's not up to anybody else to make me feel better. It's up to me to figure out how to overcome those situations. So, it's the same thing with you. You gotta learn how to control your inner thoughts. If you realize that your thoughts are always negative, you have to kind of find a way to not have those negative thoughts anymore. And like I said, I know from personal experience, it's not easy. If you have a bad inner self-talk and you always have a negative self-talk to yourself, it is very difficult to switch to a positive self-talk to yourself. Very difficult. Because what happens after a long time of always doubting yourself and having that negative talk, the problem is you stop believing in yourself. You stop believing in yourself, and you think that you're a failure in those situations, and you think there's no way to overcome it. You think this is life, this is the way I am, there's not really any way to get over this. But it's not true. It's not true. And I've realized within my life that the times when the inner self-talk starts going down and the positive talk starts going up and I start feeling better about myself is when I'm consistent with the actions that I told myself that I'm going to do. Times when I start falling off and I stop doing exactly what I told myself I'm going to do, and I feel myself slacking off, I know that I'm not following my routines, I know that I'm not doing what I need to do, those are the times when I feel my absolute worst. I feel terrible in those times. Why? Because I know in my inner self, I know what my goals are. And I know, going back to point one, I know the habits and the routines that I have to set for myself. But when I don't do them, I don't follow through, it screws myself all the way up to where like I'm all the way back down to ground zero mentally. That's something that I picked up so much on. And I remember there's a video, shout out to Better Ideas. Again, I've done an episode of the podcast. I believe it was episode 7, if I'm correct. I forgot what the title was. But anyways, I've shouted that channel out before. But he made a video one time talking about like your conscience. So for example, pretend like your inner conscience is on the other side of the room looking at everything you're doing. So say that you made a goal. Going back to the same example, say that you made a goal that you're going to be healthy, you're going to be fit, you're going to work out. Say that that's the goal that you set. But then on a daily basis, even though you made this goal, you told yourself you're going to follow through with it, you catch yourself eating Doritos on the couch. You catch yourself saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. You catch yourself eating unhealthy, eating fast food all the time. Little by little, you told yourself and your conscious that you were going to do one thing, but then your conscious is watching you do something completely different. Like I said, pretend it's on the other side of the room watching you, and you told it that you were going to be healthy, you were going to do this, you were going to do that, and now it's watching you do the exact opposite. What do you expect at that point? Do you expect to feel good about yourself and feel like you're doing something? Nah. At that time, and that's why, little by little, you realize that you can't even depend on yourself. You can't even depend on your own word, which is important. You want other people to find you reliable, but you can't even find yourself reliable, and you can't even stick to your own word. And that's why everything starts going downhill. And I'm not just talking to you guys. I'm also talking to myself, because it's the same thing. The reason that I'm able to speak about this is because I know that this is what I've done myself in my life. When you don't follow through with your own words and follow through with what you said that you were going to do, nobody else told you to do it. And goals that you set, nobody else should be making the goals for you. These are goals that you have for yourself. These are goals that you set for yourself. These are plans that you set for yourself. And you can't even follow through with that. Then how do you expect yourself to feel good in those situations? You can't. You can't. And that's exactly where a lot of negative inner thoughts come from. It comes from you knowing what you need to do, but you not doing it. Me not doing it. That's what it comes from. That's where most negative talk stems from. Because you know what you should be doing, but you don't take action towards that thing. So, I believe what is the most important is everybody, like I said before, everybody has their own goals. Everybody has their own aspirations. Then you need to take action towards that. Set a plan for it. Have the routines, have the habits, and then have the action behind it. And within that time where you're doing what you said you were going to do, little by little, those negative thoughts are going to start pulling away because you're sticking to your word. You're doing what you said you were going to do. Those negative thoughts are going to start pulling away because now you believe in yourself. You know you're reliable to your own word. You said you were going to do this, and you're doing exactly that every single day. So you have to live in that way. Whatever I said that I was going to do for myself, for others, whatever it is that you're doing, I do that every single day. I can depend on myself. I'm self-reliable. And little by little, those positive thoughts will start to sneak in. Oh, I work hard. I do this. I do that. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. Then those negative thoughts start going away. Why? Because you're taking the action towards that thing. So, it's like a chain reaction. Have the goal. Have the end goal in your mind. Set the habits. Set the routines. Set whatever you need in place. Start with the foundation. Start small. And then start taking action towards it. And make sure that you have a vision of exactly how you want your life to be. Everybody has a different vision. But have that vision always in the back of your mind. And whatever you need to do to make sure you always have it in the back of your mind, do that thing. If you need to make a vision board and get a board and put the pictures of exactly what is it that you want in your life and exactly your goals and everything, whatever you want to do, however it is that you can always keep that vision in mind, then figure out how you can do that so that you're able to always keep that vision in mind. Because if you always have it in mind, it's going to motivate you to stick to those routines and stick to those habits. Like I said before, life is not easy. Many people want a quick way to success and whatever it is. But that's just not the way that life works. There is no quick way. There is no quick way. Whatever it may be that you wanted to do, there is no quick way. So learn to enjoy the journey. So many people are trying to rush to the top of their goals and get right to the end of it right away. But don't think of it like that. Instead, learn how to enjoy the journey of you going. Because that's the most important part. What's the point of getting to the top if you don't enjoy the journey? So enjoy the journey of whatever it is that you're doing in your life. Whatever aspirations, whatever goals that you're going towards, the habits and routines that you stick towards. Like I said, it's not that it's gonna be easy and you're just gonna be smiling all the time and always happy. But instead, enjoy the process. Because little by little, the process that you have to go through to reach your goals, it's gonna build you up. It's gonna make you better. It's gonna make you stronger in every way. So you have to enjoy that process. And whatever it may be, enjoy the process. Because think of it like your own movie. Pretend that you are the star of your movie, right? Whatever your movie can be called. You could call it your name. You could call it whatever you want. Pretend that you are the star. The star of the movie is always the one that's... I can't even think of a movie off the top of my head right now, to be honest. But just pretend that you're the star of your own movie and you're doing everything you can. You're enjoying the journey and the process. There's always going to be obstacles that come your way. There's always going to be things that try to stop you. There's always going to be negative people, especially nowadays. If you're anywhere on the internet, you know how many negative people there are. The internet is not a great place, right? And people, especially when they can hide behind a keyboard and say whatever they want and you will never know who they are. Of course, people are going to talk. People are very negative, especially on the internet. So stop worrying about that. Don't worry about what other people say, what other people think. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't. Because what are their thoughts going to do for you? What are their thoughts going to do for you? So, many people think a lot of different things. Some people think murder is cool. So my point is, many people think a lot of different things. So it doesn't matter. Worry about you. Worry about what is it that you can do to be successful in your life. Worry about the habits and the routines that you set for yourself. Worry about your vision. Worry about the action that you take so that you're able to get rid of the negative thoughts within your head. Because mentally, your mental health is so important, right? We're understanding clearly nowadays how important mental health is. Your mental health is very important, so take care of it. And the easiest way to take care of it is to take action. So many people look towards drugs. They look towards electronics. They look towards a whole bunch of stuff to try to take away their mind away from all the stress and all the anxiety and everything within their head. But the best way to face everything that's going on in your head is to face it straight on. At the end of the day, it may not sound fun to face everything head on and to go straight towards it and go straight towards everything that you've been avoiding. It may seem very difficult and something that you don't want to do, but that's the best way to face it. When you face your obstacles head on and you face all your anxieties, your fears head on, those are the times when you're going to become great. Those are the times you will become great. But if you're always trying to avoid all the obstacles in life, avoid all the things that are difficult in your life, then it's going to be very difficult for you to become great. Because your life is going to be run by fear. And if your life is run by fear, you're not going to do anything. Fear is something that will stop you right in your tracks. You can have greatness right on the other side of the wall, but if you're scared to cross over, then you'll never reach it. So make sure that you take control of your own life. Take control of your life. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But like I said, have a vision in front of you. Be very specific. What is it exactly that you want? What is the vision that you have for your life? And then make a plan. Set the routines. Set the habits that you need to have every single day to reach that goal. And then from there, of course, the most important thing, take action. You can set a plan, you can set goals and visions all you want, but if you do not take action, there's no point. Absolutely no point. So set those goals, set your habits, set your routines to go towards that vision, and then take action towards it. Do what you got to do, and then you'll start to realize that all those negativity in your life starts going away and all the positivity starts flooding in because you know that you're doing what you said you were going to do. Listen, guys, this was, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I know I said at the beginning, level up. I might come up with a different name, so I'm not going to give it a name. But if you guys like this podcast, I appreciate you guys for tuning back in. If you guys have been listening to the podcast, if you're new here, once again, I appreciate you for tuning in to this episode. Make sure you check out the previous ones as well. There's a lot of knowledge that goes into it. I try. Like I said, I try to take, with this podcast, I try to take everything that I've learned and pass it on to you guys. So, yeah, I got a lot that I'm working on right now. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys are watching the video format right now, you guys can see that I cut off a lot of my hair. It's getting wild. It's getting too difficult to maintain. I said, yeah, I'm about to just shave this whole thing off. So I cut it off. It's pretty short right now. I'm probably going to let it grow out a little bit because there's something specific that I'm trying to do with it. So, but I'm definitely not letting it get as long as it was before. That was too much. I woke up every morning and that thing was difficult to maintain. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for tuning in again. Please, I got it. I have this on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. I appreciate you guys for supporting this podcast. And let's keep going. Let's level up and become the best versions of ourselves. Learn to have the heart of a lion in this jungle we call life. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.